tributes stand on their podiums to horn sounds. Cryos Gaming runs away. Ed Boon finds a bag full of explosives. Frank
Ed Boon, Ed
Sinatra
Boon, Ed
runs
Boon,
away.
Ed Boon, Ed Boon, Ed Boon.
This guy knows what I'm talking about. Matt Tofton pushes Tyler Blevins off a cliff during a knife fight. Dad Chair runs away. Don Cheadle runs away. Hans Brunner runs away. Dahi Denogla falls into a frozen lake and drowns. Hugh Jackman gathers as much food as he can. Dennis Rodman breaks Thomas Binger's nose for a basket of bread. George Foreman runs away. John Proctor snatches a bottle of alcohol and
Why
drowns
haven't
himself.
we done this sooner?
I don't know. Rafael Nadal runs away. Andrew Jackson runs away. Joe Pesci receives a trident. John Adams grabs a shield. Carl Azuz runs away. Nardwar kills Tom Boffett as he tries to run. Mitt Romney runs away.
Nardwar kills. I love that.
Me too. Jojo Siwa runs away. Keith Silverstein runs away. Dad shares his fresh food. Hugh Jackman scares off Frank Sinatra. George Foreman, Mitt Romney, and Dennis Rodman hunt for other tributes. Ed Boon sprains his ankle running away from John Adams. Cryos Gaming and Jojo Siwa hunt for other tributes. John Proctor sets off an explosive, killing Andrew Jackson, Rafael Nadal, Carl Azuz, and Keith Silverstein.
What? Who did
Yeah,
that?
John Proctor.
Damn. Wait,
He's a
who? He killed
murderer.
Ed Boon, Keith Silverstein, and who else?
Not Ed Boon. He killed Keith Silverstein, Carl Azuz, Rafael Nadal, and Andrew Jackson.
Damn.
Yeah. Matt Tofton receives medical supplies. Don Cheadle discovers a cave. Thomas Binger constructs a shack. Joe Pesci tries to sleep through the entire day. Hans Brunner runs away from Nardwar. Ed Boon fends Nardwar, Matt Tofton, and John Adams away from his fire. Thomas Binger convinces Dad Chair to snuggle with him. Awesome. Mitt Romney ambushes Dennis Rodman and kills him. John Proctor convinces Jojo Siwa to snuggle with him. He is a pedophile. That
Wait.
checks out.
Yeah.
Joe Pesci lets George Foreman into his shelter. Don Cheadle, Hans Brunner, and Frank Sinatra cheerfully sing songs together. Kraz Gaming receives an explosive. Hugh Jackman cries himself to sleep. John Adam defeats Hugh Jackman in a fight that spares his life. John Proctor runs away from Nardwar. Hans Brunner searches for a water source. Don Cheadle and Ed Boon fight Mitt Romney and George Foreman. Don Cheadle and Ed Boon survive. Frank Sinatra goes fishing. Thomas Binger discovers a cave. Matt Tofton searches for firewood. Krause Gaming sprains his ankle running away from Jojo Siwa. Joe Pesci makes a swing shot. Dad Chair tries to spearfish with a trident. John Proctor, Hans Brunner, and Nardwar sing songs together. John Adams sees a fire but stays hidden. Matt Tofton poisons Jojo Siwa's drink but mistakes it for his own and dies. Krause Gaming
Deserved
sets
for
up
trying to
camp for the
kill a
night.
child.
True. Thomas Binger tends to Ed Boon's wounds. Dad Chair goes to sleep. Joe Pesci repeatedly stabs Hugh Jackman to death with
I'm pretty sure that he's not an iconic character.
Yeah, he's not. Don Cheadle and Frank Sinatra tell stories about themselves to each other. John Proctor sprains his ankle, running away from Ed Boon. Jojo Siwa injures herself. Nardwar begs for Dad Chair to kill him. He refuses. Hans Brunner questions his sanity. Thomas Binger receives fresh food. Joe Pesci explores the arena. Cries Gaming camouflages. Frank Sinatra and John Adams work together. Don Cheadle practices archery. Dad Chair tends to Frank Sinatra's wounds. Thomas Binger, Hans Brunner, and Joe Pesci sing songs together. Nardwar lets Don Cheadle into his shelter. Jojo Siwa and Ed Boon huddle for warmth. John Proctor accidentally detonates a landmine trying to arm it, and Cryos Gaming throws a knife into John Adams' head. The Johns are dead. Jojo Siwa stalks Joe Pesci. Don Cheadle talks to
What about
Hans
John
Brunner.
Arbuckle?
He's not in here. He's not a real person.
True.
Thomas Binger attends to Dad Chair's wounds.
John Proctor.
Nardwar.
Actually, didn't.
He died.
I know. I was saying.
Yeah.
Is he a real person? I remember he's based on a real person.
Yeah. Nardwar receives clean water from an unknown sponsor. Ed Boon sees smoke rising but doesn't investigate. Cryos Gaming travels to higher ground. Frank Sinatra tries to sleep through the entire day. Joe Pesci stays awake all night. Jojo Siwa sees a fire but stays hidden. Dad Chair convinces Thomas Binger to snuggle with him. Don Cheadle and Nardwar fight Frank Sinatra and Hans Brunner. Frank Sinatra and Hans Brunner survive. Ed Boon is unable to start a fire shaped to that warmth. Cryos Gaming tends to his wounds. Cornucopia is replenished with food. Cryos Gaming doesn't go to the feast. Jojo Siwa, Frank Sinatra, Hans Brunner, and Joe Pesci team up to grab food, supplies, weapons, and memoirs. Ed Boon doesn't go to the feast. Thomas Binger is unable to convince a Dad Chair to not kill him.
Ed Boon.
No, why do you always hear Ed Boon? I said
I don't
Dad
know.
Chair.
I know, but what's the other character?
Thomas Binger.
Oh.
Your brain is just on Ed Boon mode.
Yeah. Ed Boon. Did someone say Ed Boon?
No, no one said Ed Boon. Go away. Dad Chair, Hans Brunner, Ed Boon, Joe Pesci, and
Ed
Kryos
Boon!
Gaming hunt together. Yeah, Frank Sinatra's pricked by thorns. Jojo Siwa dies of thirst. Frank Sinatra begs for Hans Brunner to kill him. He refuses. Joe Pesci, Dad Chair, and Ed Boon sleep in shifts. Kryos Gaming is awoken by nightmares. Dad Chair sees smoke rising but doesn't investigate. Frank Sinatra begs for Ed Boon to kill him. He refuses. Joe Pesci sleeps. Kryos Gaming sleeps. Hans Brunner travels the higher ground. Ed Boon tries to treat his infection. Kryos
Oh,
Gaming
it's
and Hans
Beehive.
Brunner sleep in shifts. Frank Sinatra climbs the tree to rest. Dad Chair quietly hums. Joe Pesci is unable to start a fire. Dad Chair shoots an arrow at Ed Boon but misses and kills Hans Brunner instead. Joe Pesci hunts for other tributes. Frank Sinatra scares off Kryos Gaming. Kryos Gaming, Frank Sinatra and Ed Boon cheerfully sing songs together. Dad Chair accidentally steps on a landmine. Joe Pesci sets up camp for the night. Kryos Gaming tends to Joe Pesci's wounds. Frank Sinatra sees clean water. Ed Boon dies of hypothermia. If Joe Pesci wins, that would
No.
suck. Frank Sinatra
No,
passes
not
out from
really.
exhaustion. Yes, it would. He only came into existence yesterday. Or he only, became relevant last night.
That's fine.
No. Frank Sinatra passes out from exhaustion. Kryos Gaming achieves clean water. Joe Pesci is unable to start a fire. Frank Sinatra makes a wooden spear. Joe Pesci receives fresh food. Kryos Gaming receives a hatchet. Joe Pesci tends to his wounds. Kryos Gaming is woken by nightmares. Frank Sinatra is unable to start a fire. Frank Sinatra discovers the river. Kryos Gaming receives clean water. Joe Pesci bleeds out due to untreated injuries. It's between Frank Sinatra and Kryos Gaming. Frank Sinatra accidentally steps on a landmine. The winner is Kryos Gaming.
Awesome.